I didn't belong in a city. So one day, just, boy, I don't think this is where I belong. And so I packed up my car and packed up all my stuff and started driving north. I finally got up to Bayfield, and I couldn't go any farther north in Wisconsin. I went to the real estate the next day, and there were pictures on the wall. And I kept said, I think I like that place, which was this place. Great little log house that people had actually built with their own hands, and a family lived here. I liked the people. And when I came in to see it, instead of having bread baking, they had a gallon of wine. So I thought, this is a good omen. And it's turned out to be absolutely beautiful. So I've been here for 21 years now. I love winter. I love the area and how beautiful it is. I don't do much on the lake at all. I'm mostly a landlubber. I appreciate how beautiful it is and how clean and fresh the winters stay. Summers are okay, but I really like the winter. It was owned by a logging company, and out in the woods you'll see the huge old stumps of the trees, and then usually they've been burned. That was happening when I was a little girl, within my lifetime. It's just, I find that fascinating, things that you were totally unaware of when you're young, and it's happening someplace else at the very, you're just going on with your little life, and these things are happening up here. I mean, I knew nothing about land management. For a while there was a forest products company, and their forester came over and walked through the woods with me. He explained what they would do, which would be leaving clear cuts for aspen regrowth and what have you. It didn't feel right. Then I called the DNR. Well, I wasn't real thrilled with that either, because that required a commitment on my part to manage the forest the way they wanted it managed. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want that obligation, and I wasn't sure I was compatible with their thoughts about it either. Then I found out about the Living Forest Co-op. They were totally oriented in a different direction than either the Forest Products Company or the DNR and the Managed Forest Program. That they were oriented to knowing about your woods, protecting your woods, restoring your woods, sure, providing some income from it, but doing it in a really responsible way. Charlie Ray came out one day, we walked through the forest, and we walked the whole area, and he was looking for, well, whatever Charlie looks for. It lets you see it through different eyes, and where they have the expertise and you don't. They walk you through steps, which I wouldn't have known how to do. And then they also take care of the whole process of the logging, so that you're not getting cheated by anybody. They've selected a good logger, and then they monitor the entire sale. So they really go from right the very beginning right through logging and then maintaining your forest plan. I had no idea what it was going to be like to have trees cut down. And the first day I heard the noise, and I went out and I looked at it, and I just about cried because I just didn't know what to anticipate. And I called Charlie, come over. So he came over with me, and we walked out and we looked at it. He says, no, that's okay. This is what's going to happen. As Charlie says, one of his jobs as manager of the co-op is to hold people's hands who are first time at this. And so he held my hand and we got through it. Well, in the city, there's land, of course. There's grass, and there's streets, and then there's grass. But you never get a sense of the land as a living thing. And I think that that's what has really grown on me being here, is thinking about the land as really living and breathing. When I first got that sense of that was a really, really, really cold winter night, kind of in February, March, after there was a big crust on the snow. It was a full moon, and I went up to the orchard on my cross-country skis. And there was just a little bit of wind, and the shadows of the old apple trees, it's a very old orchard, were just moving on the surface of the snow with the glistening in the full moon, and I just had this feeling that the apple trees were out there dancing. And they were dancing without me at first, but now I was up there with them. But I didn't feel like I was intruding, but I realized how much of a life they have without me. And I think that's what you come to appreciate with land like this. As I get older, I think we planted all those trees maybe five years ago or so, and I'm never going to see those growing up to be big trees, but that's okay. Somebody else will. That's those other lives, the other lives. They're at a different pace than we are, and it really puts yourself in perspective. You just see that other creatures and plants and everything have their own autonomy. They don't need you. You're not that important, or you're only as important as you can help the things around you.